Alright, we are on the draw. Mulligan that, and let's keep this, put back the, let's see, I could put back a prime time or a tabby, I think prime time. Hopefully all we'll need is one. Alright, so it's possible we're playing against some sort of combo. Normally Delver doesn't do that, unless they just end of turn brainstorm. These Echoing Deeps are really nice against decks like that, actually, because we can just follow it up with another Cloudpost, which is pretty cool. I honestly want to add another Echoing Deeps. Alright, so opponent Wastelands our second Cloudpost, but we're alright. I'm gonna go, let's see, here I could wipe out their graveyard. I think I'm just gonna play out a map into Daze. And next turn, I think I'll eliminate their graveyard here. Pass the turn. Our opponent's not putting any immediate pressure on us, so just trying to keep their graveyard in check, keep them off Murktide Regent. Tabernacle is going to be our next land drop here. Either that or a forest, I think. Well, I think Tabernacle is the way to go, honestly. But that's going to slow us down quite a bit. I think Ramunap might be the way to go. And hope it survives for a turn. On the other hand, if we want to get immediate value off of it, we should just wait till next turn to cast it. But the conundrum is, then we would end up playing the Tabernacle this turn. The other move we could do is just get a Cloudpost and hope to dodge Wasteland one more turn. And then I think I'm just going to go for that, to be honest. It's a little risky, but our opponent doesn't have a big clock at this time. So now I'm going to go for a forest at the end of our turn. At the end of our opponent's turn, I'm going to cast Crop Rotation. That's a pretty decent clock now. Let's see if we can possibly get a Glimmer Post here. Alright, that's great. Gain some life. Then next turn we got a Titan coming up. We're going to go Cavern of Souls. Naming Giant. And cast this big baddie. And yes, we do want to use Primeval Titan's ability. Gonna get ourselves an Eye of Ugin and a Glimmer Post? Maybe that should have been a Cloudpost, because our opponent could likely have some creature removal here. Now, we don't want our opponent to, obviously, to find any creature removal. We're not as worried about Wasteland. However, our Echoing Deeps is in the graveyard, so we do want to hold on to this Eye of Ugin. So there comes the Snuff Out. Now next turn, I think crop rotation for Yavimaya would be good. See, that's what I get for prioritizing life gain over mana ramp. As you can see, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can fetch. Next turn, I am going to put the Tabernacle out. Gotta put some pressure on our opponent here. And let's just play Elvish Reclaimer. Eats a Force of Will, pitching Murktide. I think that's okay. We're going to take 4 more next turn. And if we dodge a Wasteland for 1 more turn, we can cast Ulamog. Ponder. Most likely digging for a Wasteland. They'll probably hit Cloudpost. Death Shadow is totally fine. 4, 5, 6, 7. Search. Can I get an Ulamog here? And I think just gonna lay down. Oof, that's kind of a tough call, to be honest. But I think the way to go would be Ulamog. Just remove the threats right now. It's tempting to just go for a Primeval Titan, because it could definitely help stabilize us. But Ulamog gets rid of a couple of threats, and even if we get Wastelanded off of Cloudpost, we can play Primeval Titan. Alright, so there goes game 1. That's usually the more difficult of the two. Now what are we siding out here? Dark Depths is coming out. I think crop rotations will come out. Carpet of Flowers in. Veil of Summer in, Endurance in, Ramunap and rootpath purifier out. What else? Two more cards. I think a Reclaimer and a Ballista is really good against Death Shadow, actually, so let's leave that in. Usually they don't go too wide, so we could take out the Tabernacle. Blast Zone could come out. Maybe the 29th land. Let's get... We'll remove... I think we'll be okay without the Tabernacle. Let's try this. This looks like a fine hand. Ponder is what we want to see. That's a great start for us. And here, since we know our opponent's playing discard, I'm going to lead off with Elvish Reclaimer. Hopefully that sticks. If they daze it, they daze it. They don't have a creature out, so we haven't lost the tempo quite yet. We still have a forest. We're wasteland proof for now. All right. And here I'm going to play... I think I'm going to play a Pithing Needle first. We're daze proof right now. Let's see if this resolves first. Yes, and then we'll play a Cloudpost. Reanimate Street Wraith. Alright, I'm alright with that. So here I'm going to actually make another Cloudpost and play Reclaimer. Next turn we'll play an Endurance, most likely. And eat their graveyard. Get another Cloudpost. We're slowly and surely working our way towards an Emrakul here. So I suppose I can wait till their upkeep, or if they try to play something off the graveyard. With the only risk being they draw into another counterspell. Alright, so we're going to surprise lock their Bowmasters here. If this Endurance resolves. So that will be cool. Ponder's fine. So we need 2 more turns here to not get our Pithing Needle bounced, and then we get wastelanded. We also have Elvish Reclaimer protection. We have an Emrakul coming out in like 2 turns. They could also discard the Emrakul with like a Thoughtseize. That's something that could happen. And I don't think I'll even try to block this, because then they just, if they cast another Orcish Bowmasters, we will lose it. On the other hand, it is tempo. It's 3 damage. if they force it, that's good for us. They pitched a daze. Okay, so we'll take 3. Death Shadow. Alright. So 1/1. Get rid of this, find another Cloudpost. And now we have let's see. I think we might be able to cast Emrakul this turn. Yes, we will. So we'll play Glimmerpost. Then sacrifice this forest for another Glimmerpost. Then we have 5, 10, 15 mana. Emrakul comes down. And that's the match. Nice.